The reason why you can't sell AI services to businesses is because you're trying to sell them the cure before you've diagnosed the disease. A business owner does not want to hear about all the tech, what goes behind it. They don't want to hear about how you can build these complex AI agents. They want you to focus on solving their business problems. And today I'm going to take you through a 3-step process that I use that diagnoses these issues. They're not going to be what you think they are, but it diagnoses these issues and comes out the other end with a client that basically cannot refuse you. Now, contrary to popular belief, right, during the pain point discovery process, your job is not to talk. Your job is to listen. The more you talk on that initial discovery/sales call, the less chance you've got of winning that client. Believe me, I've closed over 100 million deals. I know when to speak and when not to speak. And when it comes to AI, you're looking for a few key areas. The first one that you're looking for is, where are they wasting time? So this is something that you're trying to identify. Now, what you will find is a common theme across business owners is this. Every single person wants to talk about their own business. If you sat in a room with somebody and you ask them about themselves, it's natural human instinct to make them want to speak about themselves. They will tell you everything. How their family, their beautiful daughters, just like I go on about my 2 beautiful daughters. It's exactly the same thing in business. Now, wherever this business is wasting time, wherever you are talking, how do you know? You have to be quiet. You can prep a few questions. So, if I was to solve one issue for you today, what would it be? Where do you waste the most time in a day? What's the most unnatural thing for you in a day that you dislike? You can tee them up like a golf ball, but you let them take the swing. And you identify all of the areas where that business is wasting time, because that is the most important thing. Once you've extracted this information and you're happy that you've got the information about where they're wasting time, you then move on to point 2. And point 2 is, where are areas costing money? Now, these 2 things are not the same, because what we're talking about is a business process. Yes, wasting time does cost money, but when you're talking about the discovery phase of cost, what's costing the business money, this is an abundance of things. Human error, manual data entry that's incorrect follow-ups, lack of SMS sequences, lack of utilization of reactivation of databases. It can be anything. How are you going to find out what's costing that business money unless you shut up and listen? You're not. You have to be quiet. You ask the question, you tee them up, and then you do nothing but listen. And the reason why is because they will tell you exactly what you need to say back to them in order to close the sale. They give you all of the information if you allow them to. Finding out where the business is leaking money in terms of costings is really important. And once you've ticked that off, you can move on to the next step. And this is, for me, often customer satisfaction. Or should I say customer experience. Now, if you're smart like me, before you speak to a customer, you already know their issues because you've scanned all of their negative reviews using AI and actually figured out what the clients say about their individual business. But if you're not, and you're going onto the sales call unprepared, what you're trying to find out here is their customer experience. Because ask them, what does your average customer journey look like? They will answer. They will tell you all of the potential issues and bottlenecks. And the alarm bells will be ringing in your brain. That customer experience is something that we can look to streamline later and improve. And that is twofold, because it gives the customer a better experience. So he's happier. And it also decreases churn, which is a massive problem for businesses. Churn is a big issue when it comes down to especially service-based businesses, which are the ones I advise you go after, because they have the highest value proposition for a client and they have the highest margins, generally speaking. So that's what I would say. Then probably the final thing that I would ask, and this comes out in the wash as well as you speak to, because I have generally 2 to 4 discovery calls with the business. You have a discovery call, then you have a sales call, then you close on that same sales call. But then I will have another couple of conversations with team members in key positions. So you could argue that this comes out in the wash. But number 4 that you should be listening out for is team dissatisfaction, team happiness. Right? Team happiness. Because even though the business owner that you're talking to probably, because he's an arsehole, doesn't give a shit about how his team feels, inside of here, where we're talking about team happiness, if you listen carefully and closely enough to the team and him or her, the owner, you will be able to get answers as to where the team are struggling. And those solutions are often some of the most valuable, because it gives them an update in regards to, it gives them an upgrade in regard to their day-to-day life. So where are they wasting time? You find that out, you solve it. What's leaking money? Follow-ups, etc. Tick that off. Customer experience. Make the clients happy, reduce the churn. Team happiness. What are they bogged down with? What data do they have to do? Are they sick of producing that weekly report? Are they sick of having to report every morning 9 a.m. on what they did the day before? All of these things that can be automated, you find them during this stage. Now, once you've done all of these things and you've gone through all of those phases and you've listened, importantly, you're then going to put it into show me the money time. Okay? And what this means is, this is the downward arrow of leakage. And this is what every single business owner cares about. Okay? That's why they're even interested in hiring you in the first place. Money. So, how do we convince them to pay us for this service? We have to be able to showcase that we can provide more value than what they're going to pay us. And in the AI space, they're going to pay us quite a bit of money. So we better be able to showcase it. Now, the biggest thing is time cost. So time sink. We all know AI is a big deal. So time cost is where you can save them money. That equals hours times rate. What this means is that the amount of time that you save them, the hours that it takes them to do the task manually, let's say, and what they're wasting their staff on, times by what the average rate of their employees are, cost per employee. You could go deeper, and if the task is for a higher up member of staff, then obviously this is worth more. The time cost is draining money, literally out of the company as we speak. But here is where you'll often find a stupendous number. And I'll save for the end the trick of how to sell them. But then we have second up, coming up at number 2, error cost. Let me just put 1 here, 2 here. Error cost. Smooth that one out. Error cost. So when it comes down to error cost, that is error times cost. How many errors do they make? And what does each error cost them? That is in sync with what we spoke about in our first initial points, and is now assigning a cost to each individual error. So the lack of having your solution is going to mean that their errors are costing them this amount of money factually, because we've discussed it with them. They've told us what their issues are and where their leakages are. We then have number 3, lost stops, so lost opportunities. And these lost stops are where you have, this is where you can make a significant impact on a business without them even knowing that the problem is really there. If you've listened, they will have told you that it's there, but really they just see the cash flowing. Maybe they're growing 15-20% a year. They're thinking, why do I need this guy? Well, the lost opportunities are a killer, because that is leads, more often than not, leads times value. If you can showcase that they have burned 320 leads in the last, 3 months, and that 10%, they have a 10% close rate, so that's 32 customers that they've burnt, and each customer has an LTV for that business of, say, 2,000, then you can show them that there's a $64,000 loss. You can show them, literally in numbers, that there's been $64,000 of lost revenue from looking at the lead value and lost opportunities section. You should take that approach to every single one of these, but I'm not quite done yet, because there is one other area that is often overlooked. But this will give you another good standpoint, because number 4, it's last on the list, and it's nowhere near the biggest, usually nowhere near the biggest savings. But software costs. I mean, if I had £1 for every time I walked into a business, looked at their tech stack and thought, holy shit, what's going on? Like, they've got three individual tools that do exactly the same thing. Like, there was a business the other day where half the team were using granola and the other half were using fireflies. And it was like, what? Like, I don't know what's happening here. So you get into this, but do you know what the key about all of this is? It's not even what I've told you. All of this is true. All of this makes sense. Let me use the green pen. All of this makes sense. When you're looking at time cost, it's hours by rate. When you're looking at error cost, it's the error amount, the number of errors, times by the cost of what each error costs the business. When you're talking about leads, if they've leaked 320, they have a 10% close rate, so they close at 10%. They've lost 32. If each of them have an LTV of 2,000, which is really low, but I did it because on the fly, I'm doing this video, and I didn't want to have to do the maths if I did a high number. So I did it, so it's $64,000. Well, if you have that, and you identify that there's some dollar savings here in software, I don't know, maybe it's $1,500 a month, whatever. You identify these, and you add them all up, and you put them in a dollar amount. Your solution, even just taking this 64,000, hey, my setup fee is 10k, and then I want, 4k a month, and I'll fix all of these issues. You can see that over the course of a year, what you are providing to them as a business is significantly cheaper than what they're actively losing right now. And that's how you sell. Because they already know that what you're offering is going to outweigh what they're paying you. And you can prove it statistically, factually, if you follow these 4 steps. The key, the final trick, never, ever, ever be generic. Never be generic. Always use their numbers. Always use their numbers. Find out what their average LTV is. Find out their average rate. When you are listening, that's how you pick up these things, right? You pick up all of these things and you make sure you use their numbers. Because there's no point in doing such a good job until this stage to get right to the end and you pull a number out of thin air that doesn't make any sense to what they've said. Another business I work with, I did this. Like, complete waste of time. This is how you close a deal. So we've now been through all the points they can't refuse, okay? We're in a position where we've showcased them examples with their actual monetary values assigned, right? So we've highlighted, we've diagnosed the issue. We have the medicine that can cure said issue. So what do we do now? We jump straight in and we start talking about API calls and we start talking about and HTTP requests. No, we don't. You've got two options when you get to this stage. You go left or you go right. And if you start trying to explain how you're going to solve their solutions with this node, that node, this, that, this is what it looks like in their brain. What you have to do is you have to speak their language. Very simply, well, I'm going to ensure that we instantly respond to your inquiries so that we increase conversion rates. We are going to pull all of the data from inside of your CRM that says, it gives us key indicators from the data about when a client's about to churn. What are the common themes historically? Like maybe they haven't booked a call in the last 2 months or whatever. Key indicators, data. What you say is, we're going to use your data to reduce churn by making sure that we can touch base with different clients at different times based off of what their behavior, effectively. We're going to make your team more efficient so they can focus on high ROI activities, because we're going to make sure that those weekly presentations that they have to do for you are automated and just signed off by them. One-click sign-off. Do you understand what's happening here? This is business. And this is bollocks. And the customer that you're trying to sell to wants to hear this, not this. And the amount of people that get on a sales call, I've seen it, been told it so many times, you have to simplify the process so that you are always speaking their language. That language is simple. That language is money. And if you pitch to a business a simple route with solutions that make sense, backed up by numbers from their own individual company, and explain it to them in a way that makes sense, they will pay you the money. So there you have it, the 3-step guide to AI sales and salability. Focus on the money that the business is leaking and what is costing them. Feed that information back. Go out there, find yourself businesses, discuss the issues that they face, quantify them with monetary values that are assigned to their business, speak their language, and you will grow your own business and your clients will respect you because you will be generating them significantly more revenue. That's the way you sell AI. My name's Michael Elliott. Like, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.